go ahead and start the closed session report. Roll call, please.
Mayor Wood?
Here.
Deputy Mayor Lowry?
Here.
Councilmember Kern?
Here.
Councilmember Sanchez? Here. Councilmember Feller?
Here.
Thank you. With that, we'll have a closed session.
Thank you. The council meet in closed session to discuss item 1 on the agenda, conference with labor negotiator involving the Oceanside Police Officers Association non-sworn. Also item 2 on the agenda, public employee appointment involving the city manager. Item 3, litigation involving the matter of Kiergan versus Davidson, City of Oceanside, case number 372014-41962, United States et al. Versus JM Manufacturing, United States District Court case number CV060055, and workers' comp case Ralph Alvis with City of Oceanside, claim number 1455815.
Thank you. We'll adjourn to closed session. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. We have a new sound system in the City Council chamber. Hope it works well for everybody. But anyhow, I'll go ahead and start this council meeting and ask for roll call.
Mayor Wood,
Here.
Deputy Mayor Lowry,
Here.
Councilmember Feller,
Here.
Councilmember Kern,
Here.
Councilmember Sanchez.
Here.
Yes, consent calendar items 4 through 21.
Move approval.
Do we have any comments from the council or the public on any of those items?
Consent. I want to pull one item on consent. Number 18.
Move approval for ballots then.
Yes.
Second.
Okay.
Any comments, questions?
No public.
Thank you very much.
There it is.
Oh, yeah, it comes. Vote. Please vote.
The new voting system too, so if we look a little hesitant up here, you realize that
We're waiting.
Motion approved 5-0.
Up here on the screen now.
This is slow.
With that, thank you very much. And item 18.
Yes, item number 18 is approval to accept $10,000 in grant funds from the American Library Association and the National Endowment for Humanities awarded for the city to the city for the Latino Americans 500 Years of History Program and Grant, and approval to appropriate these funds to the Library Department.
Could you change the screen on this back?
Yes.
It's on voting right now.
We still have the voting screen. Thank you.
There you go.
Yeah, this is slow.
Deputy Mayor, your item.
Thank you for coming. I just have a couple questions. If you could explain to us a little bit about the process very briefly and where the emphasis will be on it, how it will impact the community in general. I've been to many of the library programs, and they're really very positive, and I really enjoy them myself. So I'd just like to know a little bit about this.
Okay, I'd be glad to share that.
Thank you.
Honorable Mayor and council members, thank you for the opportunity to share information about our Latino American 500 Years of History project. It's an incredible honor that we have been selected by the American Library Association and the National Endowment of the Humanities as a recipient of this grant. The process really started in 2009 when we realized that Latinos in Oceanside were unrepresented in the city's historical records, and we partnered with the Historical Society to initiate the East Side Neighborhood Photo History Project. And this project added hundreds of photos to the historic record. So this grant is an opportunity for us to continue the efforts to document Latino history in Oceanside. So the library is seeking to engage with our diverse community and to unify them with an exciting, customized program that we're calling Nuestra Historia Revelada, Our History Revealed. It's a 6-week project. It's going to start on March 31st, and it'll end on May the 6th. We'll be using film, literature, and a photo history project to engage both the Latino and the non-Latino community. We have a scholar from Cal State San Marcos that's going to facilitate the film series. It's a 6-part film series done by PBS on Latino Americans, and Oceanside is actually featured in almost every episode of the documentary with information on Camp Pendleton, San Luis Rey Mission, the Villaseñor family, and so we're really looking forward to that engaging series. Also, we'll be sponsoring a citywide read of a book called The Unknown Americans, and it will allow readers within the city to join us and to see life through the eyes of believable characters and to see through the lens of the human experience. Probably the biggest part of this project is the photo history project, and we'll be using our current bookmobile stops, our Adelante stops at Balderrama Park, Crown Heights, and Libby Lake as workshop locations, as well as having a workshop location at the Civic Center Library at the April Art Walk. So all of those things together is what brings this project together. I'm very proud of the staff that did the work to get the grant, and I really look forward to what we're going to be able to bring to the community, help unify us even more. Thank you.
Great.
Okay.
Very good report. I look forward to seeing some of the programs.
Yes.
So I move approval on this item.
Okay, thank you.
I'll second, but I have a question. Over here. I will second, but I have a question. Did I show up?
Yes.
Okay, good. Can I go?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
I'm like you, I'm thinking
I'm
about this
kind of
thing.
looking at the thing. Maybe I missed it. Stop dates, is this like a summer program or something?
It'll be March 31st of 2016 through May the 6th. So we're going to cover 2 art walks. The first one will be a time for people to bring their photos and have them digitized, and then the second art walk will be artwork or the photos on display in the library.
Are you going to publicize that running up to this time?
Oh, yes.
About bring them into the library or bring them in?
Yes.
Okay.
We'll be, because we have really good relationships with the communities that we're serving currently, that are the 3 communities that we're focusing on, so there'll be a lot of publicity within those neighborhoods. And then once we digitize them, then we can reproduce them and use them to put together the photo collages and things like that. And we're partnering with the Historical Society and KOCT, so there'll be a lot of publicity for it.
All right, thank you.
Okay.
Thank you.
Ms. Sanchez?
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. This item is before us to accept $10,000 in grant funds from the American Library Association National Endowment for Humanities. And I was wondering, and it's specifically for the city's Latino Americans 500 Years of History Programming grant. What I was wondering is, why isn't this being done during a special event time such as National Hispanic Month?
Well, sometimes you are limited by the funding period of a grant, so we are starting it on March 31st with Cesar Chavez Day. So it's because of the way that
So it's set up that you have to spend the money before September, October?
Yes, I do believe that that was one of the restrictions.
Okay.
But I think if it's all done and the photos are all done, then of course we will have the photos that we can use ongoing, and we can do a very nice display during Hispanic Heritage Month with the project being finished.
Right, okay, thank you.
Great.
I think there's already a motion on the floor.
Okay. Please vote.
Motion approved, 5-0.
At your convenience, item number 22.
Yes, item number 22 is introduction of an ordinance amending section 2.1.70 of the Oceanside City Code to adjust the salary for the mayor from $28,128 to $31,895 per year, and members of the city council from $26,339 to $29,793 per year, in accordance with the provisions of section 36516 and section 36516.5 of the California Government Code.
Pat?
Good afternoon, Mayor, members of the City Council. I'm Pat Nunez, the HR Director. for the city of Oceanside. The item you have before you today, got to use this microphone, is to request to introduce an ordinance amending section 2.1.70 of the City of Oceanside Code to adjust the salary of the mayor and council members. The last adjustment was done in 2008, 7 years ago. The adjustment proposes the following salary changes. The mayor from $21,582 to $25,295, an increase of $3,767 per year. The council members from $19,739 to $23,193, an annual increase of $3,454. The increases would not go into effect until December of 2016 if they are approved today. That's all I have.
Well, thank you very much. Ms. Sanchez?
I'm going to move approval. Move introduction, excuse me.
Second. Thank you. Please vote.
I need to read the...
I'm sorry, go ahead.
Okay. This is the introduction of an ordinance of the City Council of the City of Oceanside amending Section 2.1.70 of the Oceanside City Code to adjust the salary for the mayor and members of the City Council in accordance with the provisions of Sections 36516 and 36516.5 of the California Government Code.
Please vote.
Motion approved, 5-0.
Thank you very much. Item 23, you have a chance.
Yes, item number 23 is adoption of resolutions modifying the city clerk and city treasurer's salaries from $23,592 to $24,182 per year pursuant to Section 2.15 of the Oceanside City Code.
Pat Nunez, the Human Resources Director again. The item you have now today is to request to adopt two different resolutions to adjust the salary of the city clerk and the city treasurer. The last adjustment done to their salaries was 3 years ago in 2012. This adjustment proposes an increase to each position from $23,592 to $24,182, or a $590 annual increase, and represents a 2.5% increase. These increases would be retroactive to the first full pay period in July of 2015. I'll be available for questions.
Thank you. Ms. Sanchez?
I'm going to move adoption.
Second.
Thank you. Please vote.
Motion approved, 5-0.
Thank you. Item 24, please.
Yes, item number 24 is adoption of a resolution approving and implementing the Memorandum of Understanding between the City of Oceanside and the Oceanside City Employees Association, effective August 5th, 2015 through June 30th, 2017.
Pat?
This item is the approval of the Memorandum of Understanding between the Oceanside City Employees Association and the City of Oceanside. The contract is for a term of 2 years, ending June 30, 2017. The contract terms were ratified by OCEA membership on a vote of 185 in favor to 5 opposed. The total salary increase over the 2-year period is 4.5%. So your key economic issues are, over the 2 years, there are 3 separate increases. 2.5% is the first one, retroactive to July 5th. Second one will be in July of next year at 1.5%, with the final increase of 0.5% in January of 2017. The contract also provides for special salary adjustments for 7 classifications that will bring them to within 5% of the median salary within the County of San Diego. The Human Resources Department did a salary survey and comparison of all the classifications represented by OCEA. We do that by comparing the job duties and classifications to the other cities and the County of San Diego to determine the median salary for the county and look at those. If anything falls below 5% of the median, we look to do the special salary adjustment, and in this case, there were 7. The contract also provides for bilingual pay increase to that of all of the other city contracts in Oceanside, and provides for the city to reimburse the renewal costs of commercial driver's licenses for those employees who are required to drive commercial vehicles. The key non-economic issues is a change to their available sick leave sellback requirements. The current contract states that they must use 32 hours or less of sick leave in order to sell back 50% of what they accrue during the year. Because of the different numbers of hours per day different people work, 12-hour, 9-hour, and 8-hour shifts, they changed it to 3 days, which is up to 36 hours. They also are required to maintain a minimum balance of 100 hours in their sick leave bank in order to use the cash out provision, which is new. We've also incorporated all of the new health care laws into the contract for part-time employees. The fiscal year increases for 15-16, the budgeted amount total is $720,377. That amount has already been included in this Oceanside budget that's been adopted. Next year, the increase will be $554,632 for a total of $1.275 million for the contract. And I'm here if there's any questions.
Thank you very much. Ms. Sanchez,
Move adoption.
Second.
please vote.
Motion approved, 5-0.
Next item, please.
Yes, item number 25 is the adoption of resolutions approving and implementing the compensation plan for unrepresented employees effective August 5th, 2015.
Okay, this item is a request to approve and implement the compensation plan for unrepresented employees and to approve a resolution for city attorney services. The last salary increase for unrepresented employees was in 2010, and during this review of the employee group of unrepresented, we elected to look at our hourly extra help employees. Those are seasonal workers and beach lifeguards who have not had a salary increase since 2006. So we've included them in this action. The last adjustment to the city attorney services contract was in 2014. The economic issues of this contract are to provide a 2.5% base wage increase for all unrepresented classifications, excluding the police chief and elected officials. It provides a 2.5% base wage increase to the hourly extra help employees. It provides a special salary adjustment for 3 classifications, which, as I explained earlier, fall below the 5% mark on the median salary for the county. There are many non-economic changes, and the majority relate to the job titles that are covered in the UNREP plan. All of these are listed in the staff reports. I'm not going to read you those really long lists. We've created 2 new positions out of this bottom line. We have a beach lifeguard trainee position, which will enable us to hire beach lifeguards that have no experience and train them. And we've also created the classification of Park and Rec's division manager, because when we did the salary survey, we saw the need to create that classification. So the one neighborhood services division manager will be reclassified to a Park and Recreation division manager. And then again, we've added language for the part-time employees that are incorporated in the American Health Care Act. The adjustment on the resolution for the city attorney is also a 2.5% increase, which I didn't put on that other chart. The total cost for all of the wage increases, the salary adjustments that are included for both full-time and hourly extra help employees are $443,033. Both these numbers and the numbers in the prior group include all city costs, not just the employees' increases. So I'm here if you have any questions on these items.
Thank you very much. Ms. Sanchez?
Move adoption.
Second.
Thank you. Please vote.
Motion approved, 5-0.
Thank you. Next item, when you get a chance.
Yes, item number 26 is approval of a fire department staff reorganization to include adding 1 deputy fire chief and 1 administrative fire captain, 40-hour position, eliminating 1 battalion division chief, 40 hours, and 1 fire safety specialist position, and reducing the work hours of 4 hourly extra help inspector positions by $48,733, reducing hours from 4,000 to 1,549 hours.
Chief, how are you doing?
I'm doing well, thank you, Mr. Mayor. Honorable Mayor, council members, Darrell Hebert, Fire Chief. I just want to say that I appreciate IT. They do really a great job for the fire department. And even I'm just looking at how nice that screen is, so great job, Dave and Yukari. I'm here tonight to request a reorganization. I don't know if the term reorganization is really the 100% appropriate term, but it's the best term I could come up with. It's basically aligning my department in the administrative position a little bit better to position ourselves in better management practices and also for succession planning. So I just prepared a real brief PowerPoint. I probably don't need to remind the council, but we are positioned with 8 fire stations, with 6 of those engines in those stations are advanced life support, 2 truck companies with also advanced life support, and 4 ALS, firefighter paramedic ambulances. And we've also had a squad concept that we've been running for almost 7 months now that incorporates 2 ALS firefighter paramedics on there as well, and then 1 battalion chief. Our call volume, the reason I put it up there, has just gone through the roof, and I think it's probably evidence of not just the increase in possibly population that's going on, but certainly I think the visitors in our city along the beach and just the sheer traffic that goes through. But that's a significant jump for us. And again, we're the 3rd largest city in the county, and the fire department still remains to be the 2nd busiest fire department. I put this up there just because I thought it was really interesting, and this was a Tri-Data study that was conducted in 2012, and they projected our call volume in 2050 to be 19,997 calls, and you can see that we've already reached that, and we're actually on track this year to hit probably almost 20,500 to 21,000. You can kind of see just a real quick graph of the bar that we have there, and those the years that seem to be about the same, 2012 and 13, was when Carlsbad actually repositioned an ambulance on our border. A lot of those calls they took up, and also not several, but some of our revenue they took as well. But they actually repositioned an ambulance because it wasn't working for their city after several meetings, and therefore our volume has gone back up. But 2015 that's just a projection at 20,243. To date, we've ran 11,758. So now we're getting to the org chart, and the reason why I show you all that call volume is with call volume comes a lot of management, a lot of things to do within the organization. Currently, I have a deputy chief below me, and then we organize the department in 4 divisions, the operations, administration, prevention, and training. And I just recently had my deputy chief of 26 years, or 26 and a half years, retire, and that position sits vacant, so I thought this would be a great opportunity to reposition the organization for that better flow of management. This would be the new org chart, where I would have 2 deputy chiefs below me that would be responsible for, actually, even though we're only 2 divisions, we're breaking up into almost 6 divisions. You'll see the deputy chief, that says just deputy fire chief, is be in charge of operations, which is all the fire stations and the battalion chiefs that work on those stations. And they will have a component of the EMS that deals with the operations side. That particular individual will also be in charge of the lifeguard division and also the training division. And then the deputy fire marshal, deputy chief, who will also be the fire marshal, will be in charge of the administration, which will include budgeting, accounting, and billing, and they'll also have a portion of the EMS. And then they'll also be in charge of prevention, and then our disaster preparedness piece as well. These two positions will rotate once every 2 years in an effort for them to better understand all aspects of the organization. They will be working close with each other and, of course, with all of the divisions. And the other position that I'm asking for is the captain's position, which is replacing a fire safety specialist position. And I know there's been some discussion about our plan check division, and there's been concerns, and we are working with building regarding that, but this position will also oversee plan checks and will be involved in primarily most aspects of fire prevention. It's just, again, it's in an effort to better provide for succession planning in the organization and to prepare for the future. So if you have any questions, I'll be at the sidebar.
Thank you, Chief.
No public on this item.
No public, back to the council. Ms. Sanchez?
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I have had a chance to talk with the city manager and also with our chief in detail about what this meant for the department as well as for our city. And I understand that this is all within the budget that was approved this past June. Is it June already? Yeah. So I do see the need for having a succession plan and putting it in place and making sure that we have people trained as we currently have and up it up. I certainly don't want to see you leave, Chief, because you've been wonderful. I've known you for many, many years, and I certainly hope that you've got lots of years left to stay here. But it is important to have a succession plan and at any time, make sure that we have eligible people to, get to the next step. I did inquire about this idea about plan checking, and what I understand is that we had one person who unfortunately left, who asked to be trained to do plan checking, and was not included in her classification, but she was seen as someone that could do that as a backup plan, and which is always nice to have somebody to be able to step up, as a backup in case something happens, right? But I understand that, Chief, you were looking at possibly reclassifying to include that, and unfortunately she left to become the fire marshal for the city of Escondido. Again, I lament that very much, but I also congratulate her on moving on up. I understand, Chief, that you feel very confident that you can continue to address this, the plan checking issues, that there are some things you can do internally, that this is not going to be an increase in the budget. And I have every confidence in the world in you, Chief, so I'm going to go ahead and move approval. Thank you.
Thank you. Mr. Kern?
Thank you.
Need a second.
I do not share that confidence.
I'm sorry.
Reading this staff
Mr. Kern,
report.
I'm sorry.
I'm sorry, what?
I'm sorry, do we have a second on the motion? I second the motion, thank you. Go ahead.
Okay. Sorry, let's start over. I don't share the confidence. Reading the staff report, it looks like you are basically going towards suppression, fire suppression, at the expense of prevention. And with this memo we received today about the number of plan checks and your success rate being so low, I'm really concerned with this reorganization that this number is not going to get any better. So, I'm I understand that you want to make your department better and easier to work with, but we have to make it better for the public. And that's what, that's the whole purpose for reorganization, is to be more effective. And with the success rate of only 68% on your plan checks, I don't think you're being very effective. And water's the same way, but water's not on the table today. So we have to get this done. The reason I'm really concerned is that if you look around, there's a lot of things coming down the pike, a lot of new things. So your department, especially the plan check's going to get buried. I am concerned about rotating fire marshals every 2 years. The last couple of fire marshals that I've dealt with, they've done excellent jobs, but it took them about 6 months to get up to speed on their job. And so you get somebody up to speed and then you rotate them out. I've said this before, I'd like to see the fire marshal back in building. I know that's not a popular idea with the fire department, but that's just my feeling. Because then you'd have a permanent fire marshal and somebody that actually does this day in, day out for over a period of years. That's not what we're here for. I just want to know how we improve this number given this staff report, because it looks like it doesn't happen with this reorganization. This number will not improve. My only suggestion, and maybe to the city manager, is that we start moving plan check into building. You guys keep the inspections, you guys keep those things there, but actually have either a full-time plan checker or move plan checker back into building in order to get these things done. I got involved last week that somebody said their plans got hung up. I had to contact the department and it got approved like a day later, but these things aren't going to happen by themselves. So how do we address that, Chief? How do we address to get this number up to the point that it doesn't lag the other department?
The reason why I put the call volume up there is plan checks is important to us. There's no doubt about it. But it's a small percentage of what we do. And when you say that the operations piece is not important to manage, I hope that's not what you truly mean, because that is very important. That's delivering the fire engines and the ambulances to our customers.
You do that very well. And the suppression side, I have no question about.
So let me answer your question, okay. And I will. First of all, our plan check has always been a difficult piece to fulfill, and putting it down to building won't change anything, because what our plan checkers look at are different things than what the building plan checkers look at. We're strictly talking about safety type issues when we're dealing with firesides plans. And I'm not saying that the building plan checkers aren't proficient. They very much are so, and we work well with them. There is some issues with process. We did have Marlene that we were training to be a plan checker. We used to have 2.5 plan checkers until the economy went south. And of course, unfortunately, that's the low-hanging fruit that got taken away from the department. Now that the growth is occurring and these plans are coming back forward, we're addressing it. We are.
I don't see it in the staff report that you're addressing it, though.
Well, this staff report doesn't have anything to do with plans. The staff report has to do with reorganizing the organization to better function with management.
Okay.
It doesn't have anything to do with plans.
Well, and that's my concern, that the idea that we're ignoring, I think, is a big problem here.
I'm not ignoring plans.
Yeah.
Councilman Kern, I'm not ignoring plans.
No, that's fine. I mean, I have no problem with the suppression portion of the guys in the big red trucks doing their job. I think they do an excellent job at the call volume. But I just think that the focus on that, which is rightly so, because it's emergency services, but we also have these planning issues in a city that is actually going to have a lot of plans to be checked over the next 2 years. So my concern is, how do we correct that? How do we make this number better so that we don't get calls because plans are hung up in fire or water? And it's just not your department, obviously, but the idea that we have to plan for the future, because that's coming now. And it sounds like you don't, that obviously you're focused on the emergency services, but I think we need to pay more attention to the prevention side and the plan check side. So the idea that I'm trying to figure out how we make this better. And so the idea of sacrificing prevention in order to do the operations, I don't think helps. I understand what you want to do, and I have no problem with that. And I'll probably support the motion as far as the reorganization. But I just want to get it out there. How do we fix this? That's the problem that I have right now. And if it's something that you don't think is important, maybe we should move it to building. I'm sure those people can be trained. I mean, I'm sure that they have people down there very capable that can be trained on the fire inspections or the fire plans. That can happen. So I just want to see if that's a possibility, and I'd like to see if this number doesn't, the city manager, if this number doesn't improve in 90 days, that we bring it back and re-agendize it for the council to figure out how we can make it better, to give that direction.
Well, I want to make sure that I'm on the record as saying it is important to me, and I do care about fire prevention. It's very important to me.
Okay.
So it's not that I'm taking away from that division. I'm organizing the fire department to best manage all divisions of the organization.
Okay. I understand.
So I hear you, and,
well, I
and
understand,
we are working on it.
And to do that, but just this staff report doesn't support that. So that's that position. So I just want to make sure that we're going down that path, that we provide better service to the public, and the idea that we're here for that very purpose. Not just the fire department, but also police department and everybody else, that we provide the service to those communities out there that need our service. And so if we focus on one thing and not another, there's something that falls through the cracks. And right now, plan check is falling through the cracks. And we need to make sure that crack is patched, and that we make sure that as we go forward, especially what's happening with Lot 18 and 19 and 23 and Via Astoria and the one on Old Grove, it's going to get worse before it gets better. So I just want to make sure that we're aware of that, and my colleagues are aware of that, and that we really need to address that. So I'd like to see if these numbers don't improve in 90 days, that we bring it back as a council item and address it. So is that a fair assessment? You think that's fair?
Yes.
Okay.
Okay, I'll just leave
So,
it at yes.
I mean, that's why I want to.
I'll leave it at
and
yes.
I'm obviously you're going to work
Just
with.
leave it at yes.
Yeah,
That's fair.
to do that, but the idea that, we need to provide the best service possible to everybody that we can. So, like I said, the organization side, on the suppression side, the firefighting side, EMS side, I support that. I understand that. You lost people, we're restoring those. I just want to make sure that we don't ignore this I think is a very important part of the.
I think you'll be pleasantly surprised.
I hope so.
I think you will.
Okay. All right. So thank you.
Mr. Lowry, please.
Thank you, Mayor. Chief, I have a couple questions. I don't want them to be all complicated or anything, but the one question is, I spoke with city manager's office and some other people, and it appears that historically it had been 3 weeks to get a plan check through the fire inspectors, and it's currently at around 6 weeks. So I'm wondering if this will get us back to the 3 weeks, rather than saying we want improvement, can we get back to what we used to have?
We're actually working with building. That's the first time that I actually saw that report that sent to all the council members, and so we're working with building on that. We just found out that there's some issues where we might not receive the plans for 2 or 3 days later, and that's on us to make sure that we go down to building and pick up those plans. So it's our goal, and I am just as passionate about it as Mr. Kern is, that I want to make sure that we accommodate these developments that are coming in our city. It's good for us. So we are on it. We're working with building, we're working with water, we're spending a lot of time working there, and I truly believe that this reorg will assist the process. It really will.
So I do want to point out, as Councilmember Kern said, that we have a map like this in all of our council offices, and we put Post-it notes on the projects that are coming up that are in the pipeline. We've got about 3,000 units coming, and some of them are in the process now, so I know you've already gone through them, but we have so many more coming. I just don't want to see them get stuck running up their own interest bills on their projects. So I appreciate that you're willing to move that forward.
Absolutely.
And I have a second concern, and it's about this reorganization, or whatever term is the right term to use. Seems that it should be something within your department that doesn't have to actually come to the council. So can you give me a little bit of maybe how it wound up being here? Because it's not, I see that it's $2,500 or something like that, but.
Well, if it was a simple reclassification, it wouldn't have to come here, but it's not. It's really adding a deputy chief position, even though we're limiting a division chief position. So I think the manager and the city attorney felt it was appropriate to bring it before council, and I don't disagree with it at all. I mean, I'm here. I enjoy coming before the council.
Yeah, I know that, yeah. So if we need to make budget changes, I think that's why we had the budget workshop a few months ago, and then we brought it into council and had all those discussions. And I'm hoping that we can really focus on budget needs and that we can address all the needs that you have in that time period that we're doing all the budget work, because it's really tedious for us to get through that. I mean, I had several meetings with Michelle. I had several meetings with my aide who was going out and speaking to staff, because we really wanted to know what the different departments needed. So it really helps us when that's the kind of flow we're working in. We would see all the departments and not just most of the departments. So I would ask you to please help us keep that kind of track going. So
Absolutely. Thank you.
Esther, is that all?
On. I understand the fire department, I had understood that the fire department was the last department to get the plans for checking, and as you said, Chief, several days later. So that's why I understand that that system can be improved. And also that we have had a fire personnel in planning for a year, and it was a bad experience, did not improve the process at all. So I definitely am not interested in going through that again, even if it's a different department like building. I am also not interested in micromanaging the fire department, so I'm not supporting bringing this item back to the council. I feel that you can do this and work with the city manager to address whatever issues you need help on. I think you can do this. I have total confidence that you can do this. What I also understand is that now plan checking, whenever we talk about development services, plan checking is supposed to be a net neutral cost. It's not supposed to be subsidized by the city. So I understand that at this time, we are subsidizing these costs. And so when are you going to be bringing that back so that we can, address this piece?
We are working with the building department on that, so we're hoping that possibly in September or no later than October to bring that forward.
Good.
We were not a part of the matrix study, and so our plan checks it is very low compared to most other cities in the county.
Right. Yeah, so I understand that has been a problem for a while, so it would be really nice to address that, and that would probably bring some more funds to the program for plan checking, and so again, I support what you're doing, and I know that you can address these issues. I probably heard more than I've ever heard about plan checking in the last week, so thank you.
City manager?
Get it right here. Honorable Mayor, council members, I'll be working with the fire department, the building department, and water to work on the plan check process. So we've already begun that, and we will continue to do so.
Thank you. Please vote.
Motion approved, 5-0.
Thank you.
Thank you. Council reports.
Mayor Wood?
I went back to the East Coast to see my family, my grandkids, and hot, muggy, and thunderstorms, so I'm happy to be back. Thank you very much. That's all I have.
Deputy Mayor Lowry?
Well, I managed to get out of town for a few days. That was really great. I got to visit my 96-year-old aunt up north, and she's still alive and kicking, which is amazing to me. I also, as soon as I came back, visited with our delegation from Japan, our sister city of Fuji City. They were here, and they did the market on Thursday in the morning, and they did the market in the evening, and they were very enthusiastic. And I didn't know we had a number of Miracosta College students who are from Japan, so they were all down there too. So that was really interesting. I also went to the police department promotions ceremony last week, and Councilmember Kern mentioned earlier today, it was the mayor. We had a lot of our promotions had master's degrees, and and it's pretty amazing how qualified our police are, and I really appreciate that. We also had the graduation for the 10th Oceanside Firefighting Academy, so we got 5 of those firefighters more acclimated and trained to working in the city. They started a fire and they put it out. It was pretty impressive. Anyway, I also represented the city last week at a Clean Energy Forum in San Diego, where we talked about what the different cities in the coastal region of the county are doing to move our climate action plan forward. And Oceanside is a little behind in that. I hope that we get caught up in the next couple of years or so. So that's everything. Also library news. Civic Center Library Summer Reading Program finale party is August 8th, so this year I'll come down to that. And they had 2,025 children, 175 teens, and 167 adults sign up to commit to reading. And they read over almost 1,000 books. The children read over 6,300 hours during the summer, so kudos to that bunch of people. So that's all I have to say. Thank you.
Councilmember Fowler?
Thank you. We've had a lot of different celebrations this summer. From the Samoans, involved men had a night of musical, the museum ball, junior seance, induction dinner out at QLN, synchronized swim, plus the many things that Chuck spoke about. The one thing that kind of sticks out right now is the girls surfing championships. They were unbelievable, and so many people came to watch. It was a sellout, and we've got them coming back for several more years. So that's a great tribute to Terry Goodman and his team for all they do to put on these events. So I hope the city manager can tell them that. I'll tell you later. No, I'm just kidding. There's a concert in the park Friday at Mance Buchanan, and the soccer opening day is at Mance Buchanan on the 14th. We've got an awful lot going on, and it's only week and a half now till school starts, so look out now. When I attended the Arts Commission, the one thing that stuck out for me is they would like to figure out how to do a master plan, and in some form or fashion, maybe we could have the library help them through a strategic planning process. You know, just you hire a strategic planning consultant to take them through what we would need for the master plan and how to draw. So I'm sure they'd be eager to try that, because I think they're floundering a little bit, and I know they have great intentions, but I just I told them that I would bring their concerns forward, and hopefully we can figure out some way to help them feel like they're more productive. I just have a moment of admiration for my wife. I hope she's watching. She's just doing an excellent job of taking care of a large family, but also her mother. And I just want her to know that I love her and love what she does. That's it. Thanks.
Councilmember Curran.
Just a couple of things. I wish I was on vacation, but I was remodeling a house for a month, so it was a working vacation. Just a couple of things. Art Walk this Friday night. Come downtown, go to the Art Walk. I am partial to one of the artists. It'll be displayed over at Main Street. So come down and buy some art from her. So the other one is, write this down, everybody, August 22nd, the library book sale. You need to come and buy as many books as possible, because the more books that you buy, the less I have to move. So the idea, August 22nd, 601 Civic Center Drive at the Code Enforcement Building. So come on down, buy some books, and help my back. Thank you.
Councilor Sanchez.
Thank you. A report that I didn't get a chance to make at the last city council, which was over, it was like a month ago, was that from the Utilities Commission hearing, and that is that it was reported in terms of, where we are in terms of conservation of water based on the governor's directive, that, and I hopefully have the months correct, that in April, we saved, and that's because the whole reason that we are able to conserve on water is and most of the water is being conserved by cutting down on watering from 3 days down to 2 a week. For the month of April, we were able to conserve about 30%. And for the month of May, it was 25%. The goal was 20%. We know that part of that is also the weather. We during those months we had some rains, but the whole idea is that we're getting a high level of compliance from you, our residents, and we know that you care about Oceanside, and we know that this seems kind of odd to be trying to conserve water when we seem to be a little wet, a little more wet than usual. But this is something that is very important to the whole state and to our city. We are still working on creating water, our local sources. We're still very much focused on that. But I wanted to personally thank the residents of Oceanside for what you're doing in conserving water and making our city look very, very good in terms of that big effort that we were asked to do. So I'm not sure what the current numbers are. We're still getting a little more wet than usual. But again, thank you so much for going ahead and watering your lawns and your plants 2 days, just the 2 days a week. Thank you very much. That is a great help. And that's it.
Thank you. We're going